Okay, we'll bring this meeting to order. Do we have any public comment about closed session? Seeing none, we'll go to closed session. Okay, we are back from closed session. There are no announcements from closed session. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Ms. O'Halloran and Mr. Gabby are not present. The rest of us are. Public comment. Persons wishing to speak on an agenda item may raise their hand during public comment. The library board president will recognize you for the discussion at the appropriate time. Speakers will provide their name to the library board, after which the speaker will have 5 minutes to speak. Notice to public. Any member of the public wishing to address the governing board on a topic within the subject matter jurisdiction of the district, but not on the agenda, may do so during the public comment period identified in this agenda. By law, subjects not on the agenda cannot be acted upon by the board except to briefly respond, clarify, or refer to staff for review and presentation at a future meeting. Guests and presentations. We have none.
There are none.
Correspondence, we have none.
None.
Consent agenda. This is approval of the January 10th, 2019 agenda. Do I have any questions? No? Any public questions or comments? No? Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move.
I have
Second.
a motion, and I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Information items. A.
Okay, we talked about this information items. The first one we're going to talk, you can find on page 6. And this is the Dixon Public Library and Vacaville Library Boundaries Tax Sharing Agreement. Anyway, they have made 2 deposits. On page 7, you can see where they made a deposit June 29th, Vacaville did, on 2018 of $40,000. And then on January 29th, 2019, I did include the agreement for you to review. It did come before you. It was signed by Catlin. So anyway, that will continue for 10 years, I believe, or 20 years. So that will take you out to, if it's 2016, 2036. Okay. And then I just wanted to give you the map that showed the boundaries. And so that goes all the way through page 15, just for your information.
And have you verified that all those payments since that was entered into have been timely made? Or at least made?
One was made in June and one was made in January, and now the future payments will all be made in February. So
Okay.
you should look for that in February.
Okay, great.
This February or next February?
They just made a payment in January 2019, and from here on out, they'll be in February.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any further questions about that? Any public comment? Seeing none? Okay.
And then this next one is we get our insurance liability and health insurance through SDMRA. And this is notification to you that there's a election in 2019. So I did include the information here in case some of you are interested, or any of you are interested in running for their board. That's information for you. So if you'd like to serve on another board, here's all the paperwork for you to fill out. And that's pages 16 through 34.
Thank you.
And it looks like that would take a resolution of the board to nominate one of our members.
Yes.
I don't think we have a quorum here to vote on that, so for someone. We have a quorum, but not enough to vote for someone else.
Yes.
Okay. C.
And then from page 16 through 34, these are laws that, I put the wrong page number, 35,
33?
35 to
35.
38.
yes. These are laws that apply to businesses and agencies, public or private. If you have, anyway, they have across the top how many employees you have, and then below the laws that apply. I've been working on a handbook that would include all of those and board policies. That is the beginning of the handbook, and they would have the mandates in them, and the next person will hopefully finish it up.
Thank you.
Just
That-
so you could see.
That was very useful to look at because we have discussed the application of our numbers to some things, and that was
Right.
useful to see that, so thank
That
you for
is
that.
a nice document. Got that out of Cal Chamber.
Any board questions about that?
No, thank
No?
you for all your hard work.
You're welcome.
Any public comment or questions? Seeing none, 10A.
And you had asked at the last board meeting, you requested the circulation to population percentages to be presented tonight.
Okay.
And so the cover sheet is page 39, and then there are some graphics. Beginning on page 40 is circulation per capita, and there's 5 years worth, and these numbers are taken from the annual state report that we submitted. I brought that to you in August or September. And so these numbers are taken from that and put into a graph form. So you can see what our circulation is, expenditures per capita, visits per capita, and total collection per capita. And then on page 44, there is a total collection use of 66,986. And that includes children's materials, non-English, electronic information. And this is actually a page out of that annual report to the state that we need to make.
Perfect, thank you.
Any board questions about that? I thought it was interesting that our circulation per capita is down, but the expenditures and visits are actually kind of up.
And
So-
so part of the expenditures is just as materials get more expensive. You know, so that it wasn't a great amount where I was concerned. I just figured it was the price of doing business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
anyway, but that's an annual report that, once it's submitted in August or September, I forget the exact month, that you can go back and take a look, and it's shows you a period of time, which is nice.
Did you look at how our numbers per capita apply to surrounding districts at all?
We were the lowest, but not by much. Like Benicia was 3 point something, the circulation per capita. The highest percentage was 8. So they're not real high. So,
What about the visits per capita? Do you know how we compare with them or not?
I would have to go back and look at that.
Okay, thank you.
And then on page executive searches for libraries, that's 45, 46, 47, 48. And here are, I attached the document, what library directors need to know. And then positions where you can post positions on the American Library Association, publications where you could post. And then I found very helpful to talk to the splash directors working in that consortium for information and recommending candidates. And so,
Okay, but any public comments about 10A1 or 2? Seeing none. Any board comments or questions about the executive search for libraries? No?
and then
Okay.
beginning on page 49, you had asked last time about the renovation of the interior, and I had let you know that there was a proposal from 2017, and you had not seen that. So I brought that forward. It's Mary Ann Downey, and she gives a little bit of her background, the scope of work. on pages and deliverables. And then I included her references. And I'm going to give this to JKA, the architects, tomorrow, that he's coming to the library.
Oh, great.
So I can go over that with him. But you had mentioned that you were interested in what's doable. Really, part of the programs that we're growing, like the movie night, the book club, which has been in place, but the adult literacy program has really, we need a space for meeting. And I don't know whether that's going next door or just somehow renovating the library. I know a patron was in on Tuesday, the 12th. No, can't be.
Yeah, Tuesday the 12th, because Thursday the 14th.
Okay, yeah, so Monday, because the library was open and then they were closed on Tuesday for Lincoln's birthday. They actually take it on Lincoln's birthday. And he wrote a comment that, you know, in the quiet space upstairs, it was to be quiet, but there were so many mentors working with adult literacy that it was not a quiet area. But we're just, for the activities that we're having now, we do need a quiet space.
And
Yeah.
JKA is also going to work in to look at how can we do some of this
Yes.
improvement in
So-
a phased approach.
Right, and so they're coming tomorrow to review that.
Super.
And has this interior design, I'm trying to see, have they ever done any other libraries?
No,
Okay.
and that was the pushback by the staff, is that
Yeah. and
this
I-
firm had not ever had library experience, but they're experienced designing spaces. And so Mary Ann Downey is willing to come to the next board meeting and have you ask her questions.
And
or-
JKA doesn't do any of that, do they?
They do a little bit. I'll find out more tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Great. Do we have any other board questions or comments? No? Any public comment? No.
And
Okay.
then on page 58, at the last meeting, I indicated that I was meeting with the city manager. I showed up, I waited a half hour, and he never met with me, and I never received a call saying that he wanted to reschedule, so I figured there was a lack of interest.
Okay,
Thank you for waiting half an hour.
and thank you for letting us know.
Any public comment? Seeing none? 11A.
This is the vacation leave, and you had asked some changes be made. I've highlighted them in yellow and red. And so on page 60 in the box, I've highlighted at the bottom row, over 260 pay periods, see Board Policy 3020.5, and then I've added it to 3020.4 at the bottom, as depicted in the vacation credit, and then the .5 up to 240 hours. And that should be 240, pay periods and hours. And so one is a pay period and one is an hour, so. And then a vacation credit, so that clarified that.
Okay.
Okay, any board questions or comments? Any public questions or comments? Seeing none, this is an action item. Do we have a motion to approve Board Policy 3020?
I'll move.
We have a
I
motion?
second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. 11B.
And then Heather and Susan have been working on updating the job description for page and clerk to really reflect what their job duties are. And so on page 66 and 67 is the library page, and on page 68 you can see what it was before. So you can see that it's expanded, and I think they really did a nice job with that.
Very good.
So the prior policy, it's called student library aids, but now
Yes.
it's called library page.
Yes, it is. And then And then at the bottom, it says individuals employed as student library aide must be, in the old policy, must be available a minimum of 10 hours a week. Such availability must include shifts on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, as well as an occasional Saturday. Well, we are now open on Sunday, and pages do work on Saturdays and Sundays. And this policy was written,
It's outdated.
it's very outdated.
Okay, so we're approving to get rid of this?
Yes, and replace it with the job description here, which
Okay.
I would turn into policy.
Is library page P-A-G-E or P-A-I-G-E?
I think it's PAIGE, possibly.
Well, in all of our payroll, it's PAGE,
Oh, it is?
yes. But, I mean, I can change it, that's easy.
Well, I'm not sure I'm right. That's why I asked the question.
Has anybody got a Google?
That's what I'm looking.
PAIGE, what's that word?
It may just,
Just
I
a
may just be
name.
thinking of a name.
Yeah, PAIGE
Yeah.
is a name.
Page.
Huh, okay, well, let's leave it as is,
Okay.
since
Okay.
I don't
So-
want to create problems.
So I would like to update this policy and procedure for pages with what we have here.
So the library page job description would be
Turn into our
replacing policy number 3017?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any board questions about that?
Nope.
Any public comments or questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the library page job description to replace policy number 3017?
I'll move.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Aye, second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, you have my contract, amendment number 3, and the very last one.
You sure?
We'd keep you forever.
You realize I've been here 7 months?
I know.
Yes.
I know. And we appreciate all that
Yes,
you've done.
very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do we have any, so just to
Consider
be,
it a compliment that we'd keep you forever.
so this is all the same as your prior contract, other than it extends through March 14th?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
No changes to pay or
No.
anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Okay, any questions? Any public comment? I'll make a motion to approve the extension of acting interim library director. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And we are adjourned.
Before we do that, I just want to say, if you are not here at the next board meeting, March 14th, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You've been a great help to us.
Thank you.
You've been very valuable to the Dixon Public Library, and
you.
your work for us has been very much appreciated.
Thank you.
And we are adjourned. Thank you.
Okay.